What is up, Revivalists? How's it going? Simon here from CD Revival, and today I'm going to do a ranking on the band Guns N' Roses. Obviously a huge band, formed in '86 I think. First album came out in '87. They formed from two different bands, Hollywood Rose and LA Guns, and kind of formed together to make one big band, so Guns N' Roses. Everyone's heard of them. And so yeah, not a massive discography. They've only done 6 studio albums, but I'm going to cover all of them in my ranking today. So we're going to start off first of all with the covers album. Normally I don't do covers albums on the rankings, but this one's quite good, and honestly they've not done too many, so I need to pad it out a bit. So yeah, number 6, Spaghetti Incident from 1993. This is the 5th album they did. The last one with Slash on guitar, last one with Duff McKagan on bass. Izzy had left by then, so Gilby Clarke does the additional guitars on here. Matt Sorum on drums, obviously Axl Rose on vocals. But yeah, covers album. They did it apparently to raise the profile of some of the bands that they were really into and to make them some money, obviously. That's the story behind it. Named after some sort of drug incident regarding Steven Adler, the original drummer. Apparently used to hide his drugs in the spaghetti or something like that. So, but yeah, so Spaghetti Incident, not a bad album. Say covers albums I find generally a bit hit and miss. This one is, yeah, it's alright, it's not too bad. They kind of do it a bit differently. Probably the best tracks on here. New Rose is the Damn track, that's a really good one. It's just a good track anyway. Since I Don't Have You is a bit of a strange one. Raw Power, Ain't It Fun, Hair of the Dog. There's some good tracks on here, but it's kind of it's a covers album, and like comfortably sits at the bottom of the ranking. It's not bad, not fantastic. Can you live without it? Yes. But yeah, number 6 on the ranking from 1993, 5th album, Spaghetti Incident. Number 5, I've gone for this one, which is GNR Lies from 1988. This is the 2nd studio album they put out. A shorter one, only 8 tracks, and it's basically made up of the Live Like a Suicide EP, which is a 4-track EP, which came out I think in 1986, I could be wrong, but certainly it's the first thing they put out. And yeah, it's an interesting, basically it was just made to sound live, but it's not really live. It's kind of like in the studio, but with crowd sound dubbed on. It's got Reckless Life and Move to the Sea, which are 2 original songs of theirs, and also 2 covers, which is Nice Boys, which is a Roast Tattoo song, and Mama Kin, the famous Aerosmith song. And there's 4 sort of acoustic songs as well. Patience is a good one, that was the single. I used to love an acoustic version of You're Crazy from their first album, and One in a Million, which was quite controversial due to the lyrical content at the time. But yeah, it's I remember when this came out, I was working for HMV at the time. I was like, well, I don't know, 16, 1988, yeah, 16. Yeah, last album they did with Steven Adler as well. But yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. Put it on the day that it came out. I had it on vinyl originally, yeah, a decent album. The acoustic stuff is good, and the live EP is also pretty decent, even though it's not live. But yeah, a lot to enjoy about this. It's by no means a bad album. So it's only half an hour or so long, so that's kind of half the reason why I put it down here. But so yeah, 5th place, 1988's GNR Lies, their 2nd album. Number 4, I have got the Notorious Chinese Democracy from 2008. This is their most recent album. Can't believe it came out in 2008. Honestly, that's like 14 years ago. So already there was a big hoo-ha about how long this took to come out. And it's come out 14 years ago. I cannot believe where the time's gone. This album gets a lot of hate from even people that I respect their musical opinions, and they really don't like this album. It's just like, I don't see the problem with it. I think it's, yeah, it's not their best album, but their best album's pretty damn good, as you'll see later. I really enjoy this. I think there's a lot of good tracks on it. I mean, there's a lot of musicians on this one. I will read them out. The guitarist are Robin Fink, who's done stuff with Nine Inch Nails, Bumblefoot, obviously Buckethead did some stuff on this, quite a lot of stuff. Paul Tobias, Richard Fortis, not Richard Freese. Richard Freese did some of the arranging on it, I think. So yeah, all of them did guitars here and there on the album. Tommy Stinson's on bass, Brain and Frank Ferrer on the drums, Dizzy Reed does the keyboards along with Chris Pittman. So yeah, it's mainly an Axl sort of solo album really, with whoever he could get along throughout the journey. But yeah, some fantastic tracks on here. The title track, Chinese Democracy, I think is this is just a brilliant track, really superb track. Shackler's Revenge I'm not overly keen on. Better, I really like that, that's a good track. Street of Dreams I think is fantastic. If the World is alright, it's kind of catchy, it's alright, it's not brilliant, it's not awful. There Was a Time, that's a brilliant track. Catcher in the Rye's not too bad, that's pretty cool. Scraped and Riyadh and the Bedouins I can live without. Sorry's a good track with Sebastian Bach from Skid Row doing the background vocals on it. IRS I really like as well. Madagascar is a really good one. This I Love is a sort of a ballad, piano ballad, pretty decent. Prostitute to finish it off is probably not the best track to finish off either. But yeah, some of the good tracks on here, Chinese Democracy, Street of Dreams, There Was a Time, they're probably the best ones on here, and they're all absolutely superb. And the other tracks are, there's some good ones, and then there's some, filler if you like, but people made out that it's like, the worst album in the world, and that's complete bullshit. It is a decent album, I think. So if you've not heard it and you tend to believe the hype, then check it out, because honestly it's a good album. We'll see what happens if they do ever release something else. So the sort of tracks that they've released, like School Days, I'm not particularly overly thrilled with that since then. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this album, enjoyed it at the time. Say it's not their best, hence it being at number 4 on the ranking, but it is still well worth checking out. So Chinese Democracy from 2008, and that is my number 4. Number 3, I have got Use Your Illusion 1 from 1991, which is their third album technically. I got this at midnight on the midnight release at Tower Records and Piccadilly Circus, and we walked back and to the Isle of Dogs, which is a fair old way, and yeah, I had to get up for work the next day. We got home probably about 4 AM, then listened to this and Use Your Illusion 2, and then probably got about an hour's sleep and went to work. So yeah, we're pretty keen to get these and listen to them. Of the 2 Use Your Illusions, this is my least favourite of them. Matt Sorum had obviously taken over on drums by now, Dizzy Reed on keyboards, but yeah, both albums of the Use Your Illusions I think have got some great tracks and some filler. This one's probably got the more up-tempo stuff, like Right Next Door to Hell to start with. Perfect Crime's a real up-tempo good one. And it's got things like Bad Obsession, which I do enjoy. It's got some really good guitar sound on that. It's got the epic November Rain on this one, the epic Coma on this one. Things like Garden and Garden of Eden I think are good. Things like Dust and Bones I do enjoy. You Ain't the First is pretty cool as well. It's got the Don't Cry on here as well, which was one of the singles. Cover of Live and Let Die was a single, is alright, it's pretty decent. And then you've got the filler ones, things like Back Off Bitch, Double Talking Jive's kind of interesting, I suppose. It's not the best. Don't Damn Me, Bad Apples, Dead Horse, they're all kind of a bit fillery, but still a decent album. Of the 2, this is say my least favourite. You probably could have made like one amazing album out of the 2 of them, if I'm being brutally honest, but still a very good album. So this is their third one technically, even though this and Use Your Illusion 2 came out on the same day. But yeah, decent album. Use Your Illusion 1, my number 3. So my number 2 is Use Your Illusion 2. So yeah, I do prefer this one a bit more than Use Your Illusion 1. Same lineup obviously as Use Your Illusion 1. Yeah, it's a bit more epic, this one, I think. It's got a Civil War to start off with, which is a brilliant track. Yesterday's, which is a really good one. It's got a cover of Knocking on Heaven's Door, which is obviously really famous, but it's not my favourite, obviously. Get in the Ring, which is, yeah, it's okay. It's quite up-tempo. Shotgun Blues, another up-tempo one. Breakdown, really good track. Pretty tied up, it's a bit fillery, but it's okay. Locomotive, I really like. So Fine's a bit ballady, I think. It's okay. Estranged, probably one of the standouts on here. You Could Be Mine, which was the single, the first single that came out of either of them. That was cool. That's from the Terminator 2 soundtrack. Another version of Don't Cry, and then you've got My World, which is poor. So yeah, My World, yeah, it's like a, I don't know, industrial kind of thing. We saw them on this tour. I think Axl was well into Nine Inch Nails. We saw them on this tour at Wembley Stadium. They had Nine Inch Nails as the first support band, and then Skid Row as the second support band. That was the infamous Brent Council warning Sebastian Bach and Skid Row not to play the song "Get the Fuck Out" because, you know, it's so offensive. And it's like, really, they're supporting Guns N' Roses, who, you know, have, you know, more than their share of offensive words in the songs, but they, you know, obviously Skid Row did play that song. But yeah, Good Day Out, very hot if I remember rightly. They wouldn't let us take our water in. So, but yeah, still a good show, and an excellent album, Use Your Illusion 2. It's my number 2 from 1991. So yeah, without a doubt, obviously my number 1 album from Guns N' Roses is their first album, Appetite for Destruction, from 1987. And yeah, what a superb album this is. An absolute game changer at the time. Everyone then after this wanted to be like Guns N' Roses. There was a bunch of copycat bands that came out, you know, of similar ilk, like things like LA Guns, Faster Pussycat, Sea Hag, stuff like that. Decent bands, obviously, and a lot of the sort of glam bands, because at the time there was pretty much like, there was glam metal, there was thrash metal, and there was kind of middle of the, like, heavy metal, like Maiden, you know, and the rest of them. And Guns N' Roses came out and say they absolutely changed the game. Say everyone wanted to be like them. People, all the glam bands decided to go like, you know, yeah, we'll be a bit dirtier and a bit grimier. People like Poison, Cinderella, they all changed their image and, you know, started wearing bandanas and cowboy boots and the rest of it, which was fair enough because it took a while for it to take off. I remember that I got the first thing that came out was the single "It's So Easy" with Mr. Brownstone on the B-side. I've still got the 7-inch single of that. And Kerrang at the time were going mad over Guns N' Roses. They were like, oh, they're going to be the next big thing. So, you know, 15-year-old me was all like, yeah, I'll check that out. And yeah, I loved the single. And then I think Tommy Vance played a couple of things on the rock show, like Night Train. And that was it. I was sold. It was like, yeah, this is the album for me. A lot of my friends didn't really like it at the time. A lot of people were not completely sold on it. I remember they did Donington, I think that year, with Iron Maiden. And they were way down the bill, and then they just kind of exploded, and, you know, they were, you know, then the biggest band in the world all of a sudden. But yeah, track listing, obviously. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here. I've played this album honestly to literal death, but there's some stuff that I don't need to hear ever again. Things like the singles "Welcome to the Jungle," "Paradise City," "Sweet Child of Mine." You know, they're all kind of just been played so much. It's So Easy is probably still one of my favourite tracks of theirs. Night Train's a fantastic track. Out to Get Me is great. Mr. Brownstone, superb. My Michelle, Think About You. You're Crazy, Anything Goes, and Rocket Queen to finish off, which is a really good one also. But yeah, absolute game changer. Say at the time, you know, it was quite shocking because, like, there wasn't really too much cussing in stuff back then. You know, there was, you know, the sort of whole 90s gangster rap thing hadn't happened. So songs with a lot of, like, and albums with a lot of offensive language on just really wasn't too much of a thing. Do you know what I mean? And all of a sudden there's Guns N' Roses, they come out and it's just like, you know, cussing all the way through the album, and say 15-year-old me was completely sold on that. So yeah, obviously this is the edited cover, well not edited cover, but the different cover. The original cover I think is in the inside. I did used to have the t-shirt with this on, yeah. There's that one there, and that was the original. I had that on vinyl with the original cover, which I think is worth a couple of quid these days with the original cover. So that got censored, but yeah, just a game-changing album from 1987, and you know, I just went mad for it at the time. They were just like the best band in the world as far as I was concerned, and yeah, this album, you know, it's got to be in. You know, anyone that hasn't got this as the #1 Guns N' Roses album, they need to give their head a wobble, quite honestly, because it doesn't get too much better than this. Cliched, but it's an absolute game changer, an absolute masterpiece of an album. So that's my #1 from 1987. Appetite for Destruction. I've got a couple of other bits of theirs as well. I've got this Snide Guns N' Roses Unplugged that I picked up from, I can't even remember where, it might have been a car boot sale. But yeah, it's got like unplugged versions, live versions of various things. You know, things like You Ain't the First, and well, that was kind of acoustic anyway. And things like Knocking on Heaven's Door, and Mr. Brownstone, Move to the City, stuff like that, unplugged on there. So that's pretty cool. So it's a bootleg, and I've got their live era 87 to 93, which is a double CD, which is pretty cool. Most of it's from the Use Your Illusion tours. There's a couple of bits from like the Appetite sort of era. I mean, there's songs from like the whole obviously era, but most of it's recorded. It doesn't really say, or it doesn't say at all on the album. It just says recorded across the universe between 87 and 93. If you seek it out, look on Wikipedia and what have you, it does tell you exactly where they come from. But there's only a couple that are sort of 87, 88. I think like the deeper cuts like My Michelle and I Think You're Crazy, Out to Get Me, stuff like that from Appetite, which are the earlier version, but like from the earlier tours. But still a really cool album, double CD. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, hopefully they'll put something else out of substance soon with the original, well, not the full original band, but with Slash and Duff back in the band. That would be pretty cool. And yeah, just a legendary band, really, rightly so. You know, all really good musicians, and Axl, you know, bit of a dick, but you know, excellent vocalist, and you know, he has got an ear for a tune. He's got, you know, big ambitions and what have you, and you've got to give him credit for that. So cool. Well, let me know what you think of my ranking anyway. If you've you know, if you really love Chinese democracy or really detest Chinese democracy, let me know. But say it certainly polarises opinion. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you all next time for the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Take it steady. Cheers.